Why is confidence in Apple so high right now when really the iPhone is a huge portion of their revenue and we don't know how the next product, an Apple Watch, is going to do?
Well, I think there's three factors. One, the market really got it wrong that Apple's not an innovator. Number two, the valuation is still very depressed, 13 times X cash. If you look at companies that sell sugar water, they trade at over 20 times, they grow 6% a year. And number three, we're getting the first new product category since 2010 with the iPad, and we call that a super cycle. When you get a new product category, that's great for the stock, that's great for Apple.
But how optimistic are you about the Apple Watch, really? We still don't know how big the market is for this, and if it's really going to be as big a market as the iPhone. People keep saying this is a niche product.
I think it'll be huge, and if you look at the number of watches sold each year, it's off the charts. Now, a lot of these are cheaper watches, but the total number is actually incredible. When I think about Apple Watch, we used an 18 to 20% conversion rate. You can get about $13 billion in revenue, 60 to 70 cents in EPS. I think it will be the fastest growing new product category in Apple's history, surpassing iPad that sold just under 20 million in the first year.
How concerned are you that at this point the iPhone is such a big portion of their revenue?
Yeah, it's a big piece of the revenue, but I think as we go forward, increasingly Apple will diversify. So Apple Watch is one piece of that, and ultimately think there's going to be an Apple TV. So I think there's lots to look forward to in Apple, and that's what the stock is starting to show you right now, but I think there's still lots to come.
You still think there's going to be an Apple TV set? Because quite a few people would disagree with you. I mean, many people that we have spoken to have said, look, we thought that Apple was going to do something in TV. We think that they've found it too difficult, and therefore that's not going to happen anytime soon.
So whether it's a set-top box type device or an actual television, they, in my view, will enter the television market, probably over the next few years, and I think that's a totally new product category. TV market's a $100 billion product category a year, and Apple, depending on the form factor that comes out, won't price it, like the average television out there. So I think that's very exciting.
IDC is projecting that the worldwide tablet market will decelerate year over year. We know iPad sales have been slowing down. How much of a concern is that part of the business?
Yeah, it's a good question. Tablets, we went to Computex in Taipei in June, and we went back to Taiwan in September, and tablets are kind of a train wreck. I think what you're seeing, and probably will see, is more and more companies exit the market. So I think that's going to be good for Apple. Tablet, is expected to be the go-to consumer electronics device this holiday season. So I think that'll be great for the iPad franchise, and I think you'll see Apple do different things on iPad as we move forward.
For all the concern about Steve Jobs no longer running this company, Apple's market cap has doubled in 3 years since Tim Cook took over.
Yep.
What does this say about Tim Cook?
Well, I think as up until Steve Jobs passed away, I think there was some discounting in the stock, number one. Number two, I think people really felt like the wheels would kind of fall off Apple's wagon here. It didn't. And actually, they've done a lot of pretty innovative things. So I think he's done a phenomenal job, and I think it's taken the market a little while to realize that. But they're starting to give the stock a better valuation. I think that's only going to continue.
Prediction time. Is Apple going to get to $1 trillion market cap? How long is it going to take?
Well, our $143 price target is well over $800 billion. And so the trajectory looks right. We're not going to call when, but I think the trajectory is right. And the stock is, again, I would just highlight, very, very cheap. And we're entering a super cycle, right? We're entering a super cycle. We only get these every 4 or 5 years, and that's very, very exciting to me.
What's a super cycle? What do you mean by that?
New product category opens up. So this time, Apple Watch is obviously part of that. That's the biggest part, totally new product category. They did enter the phablet market, so I'd call that kind of a mini new product category, and we have Apple Pay. But it's really driven by Apple Watch and a huge refresh around the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus. I think that's exciting.